As crazy as it sounds, for the past year or so, I've been telling myself the phrase,
Being delulu is the salulu.
and surprisingly, adopting this belief has actually afforded me a lot of success, both in terms of my own self-concept and what I've been able to accomplish. So in today's video, I want to discuss some mindset shifts that we can use to feel and be hotter and radiate a very confident, magnetic aura. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eva, and in this space we talk about how to level up and live our dream lives. We discuss things like feminine energy, holistic wellness, and mindset. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and keep watching. As always, timestamps are down below and video chapters are as follows. We're probably all familiar with Marilyn Monroe. Her beauty was undeniable and her charisma was unmistakable. But something I find particularly interesting about Marilyn Monroe and her story was the way she was able to command attention, completely transform her energy, and the way people perceived her.
No, they didn't recognize it. I said, wow, how come they don't jump up and down? And she said, oh, do you want to see her?
And she had no makeup on. And by the way, she could walk down the street in New York in a scarf, dark glasses, a raincoat. Nobody would look at her. And she turned to me and said, do you want to see me be her?
Within 20 feet, he was surrounded by about 40 people.
And suddenly people started doing double takes and going, oh my God, is that? Oh yes, it is.
Never underestimate the power of you-know-who.
What I find so remarkable is that she didn't change anything physically, yet all of a sudden, people became very drawn to her. So what changed? How did she do it, and how can we do the same? What changed were her thoughts, which then changed her energy, which through outward expression then changed the way she carried herself. Very subtle things like shifts in her posture, her expression, and just her overall energy were able to unlock or turn on her star power. This story so clearly demonstrates that beauty, attraction, and magnetism is about a lot more than just your physical appearance. This video is going to be strictly based on the mindset to achieve what one might call the Marilyn Monroe effect, and again have this very confident, magnetic, attractive aura. But if you are looking for physical ways to be more attractive, then I would recommend checking out my video on scientific ways to be more attractive, so I will link it down below. So with that being said, let's get into the mindset of confidence and attraction. Okay, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this one because I discovered this concept about a year ago and I just got so excited and got really into it. So let's dive in. Marilyn Monroe was the queen of alter egos. I don't know if you guys realized this, but as I was researching information for this video, I learned that Marilyn Monroe, that whole name and identity, was a complete transformation from her original identity as Norma Jean, which was her God-given name. She is not the only celebrity that has used alter egos to tap into a different version of themselves. So Beyonce had Sasha Fierce, Donald Glover has Childish Gambino, even Kobe Bryant had the Black Mamba. Everything in life starts with your mindset first, and then your actions follow. So when we change our identity first, we then start acting like that person. I know the whole idea of an alter ego might seem a bit strange, but let me clarify. An alter ego is not about being fake. Rather, it's about giving yourself permission to be who you want to be without any limiting beliefs. You no longer have to hold on to identities that don't serve you. Not only that, but let's just be real, it's just fun. The idea of having an alter ego is kind of playful and that's kind of how life is supposed to be. When we were kids, we would play dress up. We would be a chef, firefighter, police officer, all sorts of things. So especially if you want to connect to your light feminine energy, embracing this playful, kind of youthful side is a wonderful way to do so. So you don't have to do these things in any particular order, but I wrote down a few various tips that might assist in creating an alter ego. One journaling activity could be to think about all of the different identities you hold for yourself. So write them down in a list and then sort them or group them into two categories, positive identity statements and negative ones. Then you're going to look at these negative identity statements and ask yourself, who told me this? Afterwards, you're going to release that identity or that trait and remind yourself that the past no longer exists and you don't have to hold on to any parts of your identity that don't serve you. Other ways to kind of create your alter ego are to think about the different values that you hold, or to think about what kind of feminine archetype you identify with the most. I made a whole video on the 7 different types of female archetypes. In general, women can tap into any and all of them, but oftentimes we find that there are one or maybe multiple kind of dominant archetypes that we identify with. Another super fun way to connect to this alter ego is to have some sort of anchoring symbol or object. This concept was taken from the book Alter Egos, and so if you're interested, I will put a link in my description. But this could be something like an accessory, maybe a pair of glasses or a belt or a purse, a necklace, a pair of earrings. It can also be something like a scent. So in my video on scientific ways to be hotter, I talk about how I wear the same perfume before every video that I film. And that's because it just gives me like an extra boost of confidence and makes me feel very powerful and able to show up on camera in a certain way. It can also be things like a certain color that you wear or a certain style of clothing, but something that kind of puts you into that zone and shifts you into that alter ego. So once you have an idea of what this person is like, now try to find small ways where you can show up as her. You'll be thinking about how you would carry yourself with your posture. What thoughts is this person now thinking? What expressions does she make? And how does her overall energy allow her to show up in the world? When we talk about holistic wellness, it's not just our internal environment that matters, but also our external environment. And so if you've been following this channel for a little bit, I've already talked about the fact that, we cannot control the world around us. We can only control ourselves and how we respond. And while that is absolutely true, and we cannot control the world around us, we do have some agency when it comes to our external environment, such as the people that we're choosing to surround ourselves with. And this is why it is so important to surround yourself with like-minded women. Other women who are confident, who are sure of themselves, and do not need to tear other women down to feel better about themselves. There is nothing like being around your girlfriends that really just bring out the best in you and where you can kind of radiate and bounce off of one another's energy. When you are around these kinds of people, or at least how I feel around my girlfriends, I know that I can go to them for style advice, for life advice, career advice, if I just need to vent about something, and vice versa. I feel like this type of connection and community is so important, especially when it comes to confidence and attraction, because none of us can be perfectly confident and on a 100 level 100% of the time. And so in those moments where maybe we're doubting ourselves, it is so invaluable to have true friends who are going to be there to support you. When you go out and about, or just when you're exchanging stories and talking about your lives, the kinds of people that are going to encourage you to show up as your most confident self and not shrink yourself. And you get that by being surrounded by other women that are interesting, that have things going on in their lives, and again, are very sure of themselves as well. So I would say just be very mindful of the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Kind of notice how you feel afterwards. Does your bucket feel filled up, or does it feel empty? Do you feel good about yourself afterwards, or maybe worse about yourself? If you are enjoying this video so far, I would love if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel if you are not already. So we've talked a lot about light feminine energy, that soft, playful Disney princess energy type side, but we haven't talked a lot about dark feminine energy, which is a little more mysterious. It's a little more siren archetype, femme fatale. Shout out to my dear friend that has always been a master of the femme fatale energy. But the main trait here when it comes to connecting to your dark feminine energy is mystery. Women who are in their dark feminine energy recognize that they are the prize. Therefore, they're a little bit protective over their energy. Not everybody has access to them. They have strong boundaries and high self-respect that they communicate to others. Women in their dark feminine energy are also very humble. They're not constantly bragging about their accomplishments or, talking about their life 24/7 and what they achieved. It might take some time to get to know this person and learn some of those details. And I think there's something just so attractive about somebody that doesn't feel the need to talk just to fill up space. They don't have to overshare, and only the people that are actually close to them in their life get to know the more intimate details of their life. That sort of mystery and that, femme fatale energy is so attractive and alluring because it makes people want to know more. At least for me, I think about the times when my friends would say, I have a secret, but I'm not going to tell you. And then all of a sudden you have this burning desire to really, really know what that secret is. It's the same thing, but not really in some sort of like playing games way. The secret is just your energy, and you're not going to be giving out that energy to everybody. It really just means you are selective with your time, your energy, your resources, etc. And access to those things is earned through honesty and respect. And it goes both ways in any sort of relationship. Okay, when I say this, I mainly just mean we are making a conscious choice to see ourselves and the way others see us in a more positive light. So my personal connection to this, when I was younger and I would be out in public and maybe I didn't like the way my hair looked or I wasn't very confident in my outfit, I would automatically project this onto other people and think that they were thinking those same things about me. I would get one look and I would think everybody is noticing this thing that I'm self-conscious about. In reality, we are probably never going to know what the person walking down the street next to us is thinking, so why would we choose to believe the thought that is going to cause us more stress or worry or insecurity? Why would we spend our time thinking about thoughts that are just going to put us down? It doesn't really make much sense. We don't have to interpret the look to mean anything. And the same tactic or the same principle can be applied when it comes to relationships. So let's say you're waiting for a text back from somebody and you're starting to kind of stress, panic a little bit, you're using up all of this energy, wondering if you did something wrong. What this really reveals is wounded feminine energy. And rather than worrying if you did something wrong, we could also think, maybe this person's busy, maybe they're out getting me flowers, who knows? We have two choices. We can either believe something that's going to stress us out or something that isn't going to stress us out. So why would we choose the one that's just going to put us in that lower vibrational state? Now, I will say as a caveat to this, if you're noticing something become a pattern, like a person is continuously not responding after long periods of time, and that makes you uncomfortable, of course express and communicate those boundaries, but I'm talking about more on just a one-off occasion where sometimes our minds can start to wander. If you take away nothing else from this video, let it be this. It is okay to not always feel confident or attractive. There's a lot of healing that we can do through inner work that can help us with those beliefs. Additionally, it is okay to think very highly of yourself, to say, I am attractive, I'm beautiful, I like the way that I look. Even if somebody else thinks it's too much, it is okay. You are within your rights to think those things. Do not dim your own light or be afraid of your potential. It is okay to set high goals for yourself. Goals that some people might think are delusional or crazy. It's okay to wear things that make you feel confident, even if other people might think it's too much or they project their own feelings or insecurities onto you. You are not responsible for other people's feelings, so keep doing you, keep shooting for the stars, and living as your beautiful self. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I would so appreciate if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.